the SBA have a specific mission to help people start, grow, and expand a business. And we do that in a lot of ways. We do that in our counseling services, our financial services, and our contracting services. The biggest thing happening with the SBA right now, in case you don't know, and this information you can get right from the Women's Business Outreach Center right there where you sign up at, is the PPP and the EIDL. These loans, the PPP, was put into place to help people with their payroll and with their overhead expenses. This is the third round of the PPP, and there's $130 billion left in the fund. Therefore, the House and the Senate got together and passed an extension because the sun set it on this June the 30th. Now they have extended it until August the 8th. I don't know if there's money left in, if they're going to extend it again or not. I'm not quite sure. But we do know that if you have a business and you were affected by COVID-19, meaning you were shut down, you had employees, you could not pay them, you could not pay the expenses if you had a brick and mortar, that this loan was designed, should I say, it's kind of like a loan grant. Basically, it turns into a loan if you don't ask to be forgiven. It's a grant if you ask to be forgiven. If the money is dispersed to you in 24 weeks after it's been dispersed, you don't ask that it be forgiven, it turns into a loan at the percentage of 1%. That's all you're paying on the outstanding balance of this loan is 1%. Now, you can do this loan. It's an online application. If you go to www.sba.gov, or you can go through the Business Outreach Center where you signed up for this, how to build a successful online business. It doesn't matter how you get this application. You get it, you complete it, you can submit it to any of your major banks. Every single bank practically knows about this. Throughout this country, we have 4,700 financial institutions processing these loans. That's a lot of people. So far, we've given out $518 billion to small businesses affected throughout the United States. So there's an SBA office in every single state. And in the New York office, we've given out $38 billion, and we have approved 318 million loans just in New York, okay? So if you're interested in any kind of finances for your business, I'm saying this first because we have a short leash of time to get this done. August the 8th is your date, okay? We also assist through our women's business centers doing these types of workshops that Jasmin is going to be doing for you today, how to build a successful online business. I've not heard her, but I certainly will be sitting here bated breath listening to her. She looked like she's going to do an excellent job. And we also have government contracting, and we can talk about that. That is in the book. If you want me to send a link, we have a resource guide where all this material is contained. I can send it to Lovely, and Lovely can shoot it out to every individual that's on this workshop with us today. If you have additional questions that you want to ask concerning our services, you can definitely get in touch with me. The name is, well, I'm in the book too, but my name is Elaine. The last name is hyphenated, it's Powell Bell Navis. And my telephone number, you can reach me at is 929-446-3952. And I deal with the Manhattan area. Anybody that has a business in Manhattan generally, would come through me. But I am doing this with the Women's Business Center, with Delia and with Lovely, because they are partners of the SBA. So we joint ventured together and thought that we would put this workshop on for you, because we're trying to do everything that we can to make you a success. That's what our job is at the SBA, is to make sure that you're successful at what you do. And the reason is because you are the backbone of this economy. If small businesses fail, this whole economy fails. So we don't want to have anything of that magnitude failing. So if we can get the businesses back up, we can get the schools back up, whatever we can get back up, then we can go back to normalcy. But, in the meantime, we know everybody needs help. So we're trying to provide that financial help for you. So I am going to see if I can send this link. I'm sending the whole book link to Lovely. And if she wants to put it on here, that would be just perfectly fine. to put that on. I will put my name. I'll put my name on there, and I will also put my telephone number on there so that you can call me. And if Lovely doesn't get the book to you, I certainly will be one of the people to get the book to you. Jasmine, again, very nice to meet you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, because a lot of people have moved to doing business online because, you know, of the situation. So your workshop is right on time for, and you say female entrepreneurs. We are really, really interested in making sure that the women do the things that they are supposed to do. Okay, so I thank you, Lovely, for the time that you've given me. I don't want to hold Jasmine up because she looked like she's ready to roll. She's ready to roll with this, and I'm ready to hear this. So again, thank everybody on the phone for taking the time to listen to me. I will put my name, my title, and my telephone number in the chat. And when you get ready for the link, because it's a whole book, I will send that to Lovely, and she can send it out to everybody that attended on this chat. Okay, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, but I will still be here.
Thank you. Jasmine, whenever you're ready.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. So first of all, I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank Lovely. I want to thank the SBA. I want to thank the Women's Center. As you'll see, as I roll through my presentation, I've been supporting women in business for 10 plus years. And I completely agree with what you were saying about that we are the backbone of America. Mm-hmm. Women especially, I think, do a tremendous effort to move things forward. And my own kind of statement, my own philosophy is that if we come together and support each other, we'll be even more powerful and make better things happen for each of us individually. Absolutely. So that's that. I am really about that. So I'm really happy that I let you go. All right. So I'm gonna get right into this. And as you were saying, yeah, this is a time, you know, unfortunately, COVID has really hurt the economy. But at the same time, entrepreneurs by our nature, I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, are creative, out of the box thinkers that shift and move. And that's what we have to do to survive. And entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And so, you know, I've seen that entrepreneurs are making the right shifts and coming up with different ways of doing business. And I've been in digital marketing for close to 20 years. And I see now that it is really a place where you can build a solid business. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. And this, for me, I'm a keynote speaker a million times over. So for me, this is a basic overview, but I'm giving you tips that you can walk away with and actually do something. Okay. So my agenda is to, first of all, how you properly plan for an online business. Most of my work is as a strategist. I do not do anything without planning. And I don't think anyone should, because if you just run at digital marketing without an understanding of who your market is, what your price points are, who your competitors are, you're going to inevitably end up spending a lot of time running into pitfalls, spending a lot of time, and time is money. So I'm going to talk about how to properly plan for your online business, whether you have already started a business online or you're just starting a business online. And then I'm going to talk about tactics. So the way that digital marketing works, and marketing in general, is we start with strategy. And only once we have a solid strategy, then do we start to deploy and manage and optimize tactics like social media, like search marketing, like website optimization, which I'm going to talk about today. And then I'm going to talk about the $1 million question, which is budgeting. And because I own an agency, a lot of my work is educating small business owners on why they actually need to have a budget, because a budget should not be scary. A budget for me is exciting because a budget can help you define what your profitability is. So I'm going to talk about that today. And then I'm going to just share with you some digital marketing tools that I use for my clients and just answer questions on those. So I'm going to jump right into this. And I thought I'd start with my own entrepreneurial story because, like I said, everybody's an entrepreneur. So my background, I started actually on Madison Avenue way back in the day in the world of traditional advertising and branding. And that was my first love, you know. And then once I went to UM, as you see here, I'm a big Kings fan. So once I went to grad school, I chose that I really wanted to learn everything that I could about entrepreneurism. And so I did that. And then from there, I went to IBM. So my background is a mix, just to give you a little bit of a footprint, of traditional advertising and branding, definitely B2B technology, and entrepreneurism. And since I did all that, I left IBM to start consulting for other agencies. And around the time of 2006, I was speaking at a Direct Marketing Association conference in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just had some people come up to me afterwards, and they were all small business owners. And the agency I was speaking for was all of their clients were Fortune 100 companies. So I was really managing, like, Citibank was one of my major clients, for example. And all these small business owners were hungry for support, but none of the agencies wanted to give them support. So a light bulb went off because I'm an entrepreneur, and I said, I'm going to leave this agency. I'm going to start my own agency. I'm going to call it Agency. We're going to represent small businesses. And I've been doing that ever since. Flash forward to about 2000, well, after that miserable recession, 2008, 2009, there was another major change in the way the world was going in the economy, just like now, actually, very similar to me. So what happened because of the recession, as we all know, there were, just like today, there was this major breakdown of big corporate America. And so there was an influx of more entrepreneurs. And so there were all these really smart, experienced people out there that were leaving companies like JP Morgan, Bear Stearns, Citibank. They ended up becoming my clients because they wanted to start these small businesses, consultancies. And so that happened. And then because of my work in managing a lot of small business clients, people wanted my education. So I started speaking, and I'm just trying to get to the point of what we're doing today. So I started doing speaking, and I started developing these library of courses, and I would look out into my audience, and I kept realizing, like, the people that are smiling and the people that are coming up to me all have the same commonality. They're all women. And all these women, young and old, actually I'll never use the word old, older, young and older women were coming up to me and really excited about what I had to say because they really wanted to build their own businesses. So I started this podcast called Warrior Women in Business. And that podcast has grown now into a member organization, which I run. And this is actually how I found the SBA in the first place. So Warrior Women in Business falls under my JS Media Corporation, and we do events. I run a conference called Brand New, all for female entrepreneurs. We love to partner with other women's organizations that have the same mission. And we basically bridge mentors, coaches that have been there, done that with female entrepreneurs, and even bring in students to get internships with female-led corporations in New York City. So anyways, that's me in a nutshell. So I want to just give you my background so you know who I am and what I've done. Okay, so now where do you start? This is the exciting part, because talking about me, okay, no, done. So the first thing that you need to do is, whether, like I said, whether you are considering starting a business. A lot of my female clients have had their own companies, but they've never really done online business. I've also come across a lot of women that have done traditional jobs, and now they want to do something online. So I want to give you an idea of some of the things that you could do in terms of starting an online business. So the obvious is having a product e-commerce store. And a lot of these clients I support and advise. So whether it's oh, I have an idea for a clothing company, or I have an idea for an art company or a book company or something, So this is e-commerce, right? And e-commerce in itself is exactly what it says. It's an online business, So that's really 100% and a complete online business. That requires everything from fulfillment, distribution, partners, profitability, pricing. I mean, I could go on, inventory management. You can also look at starting a coaching consulting service online where you can actually charge for your time online. So that's something that a lot of coaches and consultants, and especially trainers, because I'm a speaker and trainer, they've just been having an incredibly hard time right now. I mean, I produce events. My business lost like $20,000 easily through COVID, because we lost our events. So it's about shifting into, how do I deliver events that are highly qualified online? How do I deliver my coaching consulting service? How can I take my former or prospective clients and shift them online? So that's another way you can do business online. A membership service. So a lot of companies that do really well online are smart to have an ongoing recurring revenue, whether that's a membership-based service or an online subscription service. So an example would be like a software usage company, right? It's a recurring business online. Online course delivery. I have a lot of people that ask me to advise them on this. And so, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can have a course online. Now, there's gazillions of sites that you can start with just to start selling your course to their students. But once you build enough of an audience there, like Udemy is an example, there's like Skillshare, there's millions of examples. But once you get there, if you have a solid business, people will start coming to you as the expert in that area and buying your courses online. Digital downloads. So Etsy is a perfect example. I also support, through Warrior Women in Business, female creatives in a huge way on the side. I'm a musician, and I really believe that women in the arts need help. So, you know, if you're an artist or someone that's creating or composer, you can sell digital downloads online. There's so many sites. You don't even need to build your own site. There's so many sites that are hungry for your content, and that becomes of value. So number one is defining a solid business idea. So I thought I'd just give you some examples of online businesses that actually make money. Okay, number two, discovering your online target market. Really, really important. When I do digital strategy for clients, I spend most of my time here because this is number one. Do you know the size of your market, right? Do you know, is it local? Is it regional? Is it national? Do you know the gender? Do you know the age? Do you know their buying behaviors or lifestyle habits? Do you know their full demographics? Married, unmarried, household income? All of this information. The beauty of the web is that you can get a lot of great information and data mine, which is how social media started when I started in it, from just utilizing online tools. So do you know the price your audience is willing to pay? That's really important. So looking at competitors, what are they charging if you're looking to get into an online subscription business? Is your product comparable, you know? And where does your audience hang out online? That's really important, because you could have, we always used to say in website marketing, you have the best website, but if nobody's going there and nobody hears about it, your investment means nothing. So you have to know where to reach them, how to reach them, who they are, what their tastes are, and it has to resonate with your brand. So then financial growth. So that if you're saying I want to start an online business, to me means you're starting a business. I don't really care if it's online. So it requires a financial plan. Very, very important. At Warrior Women in Business, I brought experts together that I focus on marketing and they focus on finance and operations. So building an online business, just like the SBA provides amazing tools for entrepreneurs and such great support, you know, utilize those tools, you know, write out your actual business plan. So what is your pricing plan for your products and services? You know, defining your minimum resource requirements. It's so important and so hard, because I'm a very honest person. It's not easy. My goal is to make $1 billion, and it is, and it is, you know, and that's what I say every day. And, but yeah, it's going to take a long time. And I know I need to start maybe with 1 or 2 full-time employees, you know? So what are your minimum resource requirements based on the products and services that you sell? This is a math equation that's so important for you to have before you launch a website. It's so important. What is your investment, right? Because every entrepreneur, pretty much, that I've ever worked with starts with their own money, and that's good. You know, that's fine. But you got to know how much money you can invest and be realistic about it. And then you have to look around and say, who else in my support system would be willing to invest? Maybe you're lucky enough. I've never been in the situation, but maybe you're lucky enough to have a female partner that maybe wants to be a co-founder and invest. And that's pretty cool. You know, so looking at your investment, how much can you realistically invest in your business based on your personal finances, and making that a separate line item. It's hugely important, because too many entrepreneurs fail because they mix their finances. They don't understand their finances. They're creative people. It just doesn't work. So it's really important. How many products should you sell year to year to hit your profitability? If you don't know that, believe me, you're going to fail. You have to, and I hate to be so direct, but you have to really understand your business. And I'd love to see the day when women business owners are respected just as much as male business owners. And I think this area of understanding your finances, understanding profitability, understanding how to make it work is what's going to help us really rise as women in business. Where can you pull from to invest? So most of the clients that I work with, like I said, they start with putting their own money in. But, you know, at some point you want others to invest, because usually it takes, in my experience, it could take a year or two. Sometimes it takes up to 5 years for you to be profitable through customer sales. So you need to have reserves, you know, whether it's a loan through the SBA, or you're going to female and angel investors, of which there are 10 angel groups in New York City I personally work with, or you have connections with private equity. You got to have a business plan. Really, really important. Then you need to understand what the digital marketing landscape is. So I thought I would share this with you, because small business owners that aren't in digital marketing and don't have 20 years of experience like I do necessarily wouldn't know what this looks like. So I thought I'd try to explain it as simply as I can, just to help you guys get educated as you move forward. I mean, whether you do it yourself or you hire somebody. So this is the digital marketing trifecta. And I put this up here to show you that digital marketing is a process. It's a process, right? So it has a strategy, it has tactics, it's tied to goals, it's tied to a plan. And so all of these areas within this trifecta, they work together like a machine, like a process. A business doesn't exist without a process. So, you know, when you think about these, you're going to hear about these different tactics. If you're not already doing them, I don't want to assume anything on this call. So you might hear about like paid search or SEO or retargeting or online PR or, you know, website conversion, right? So these are different parts or different tactics that feed into digital marketing. So that's why having a plan and understanding what these are and what these do will help you understand how to budget. Because a lot of people, they just don't understand how to budget, because I think they don't understand the components of digital marketing. You know, it's like a car. If you don't understand the price of the parts, you're not going to really understand an estimate. And that's how I look at digital marketing and budgeting and delivery and implementation, is really understanding the cost and value of these things. So as you see on the right here, I'm going to try to move this little, dude, I don't even know if I can do it here. Okay, here we go. So if you look over on the right here, so earned traffic. Let's just talk about traffic, right? When people have such a misconception, at least the people I've come across in my days in digital marketing, on earned traffic. So earned traffic really means that you are doing what you need in an organic way in content marketing and search engine optimization and online PR to get people to come to your conversion point. Your conversion point, just for simple language here, is where you drive traffic online to drive a sale. So some people drive a sale through their website. Some people have a Facebook shop. Some people are have an Etsy shop. Some people are just selling on Amazon. So wherever it is your landing page, your point of conversion, where you're driving that sale, earned is really how you're doing that in an organic way. Owned is the properties that you own. So you want to think about what you do online is like, so everything that when I think about digital marketing, I think about IP. I think about, you know, your value and ownership. So your website has a value, your domain name has a value, your brand has a value. Obviously your products and services have a value. So that's really where you want to drive traffic and visibility. When people come to me and they say, I want brand awareness. Okay, so I look at what does this person or this company own? And those are their assets. And then there's paid efforts. Paid efforts can become very costly, but with small businesses, you don't really need to go that way. When you think about developing your digital marketing plan, you want to think about, to go back to what I was saying previously, where it is your customer lives. So I generally recommend doing that first where you know there's demand and where you can have immediate impact. So that's why when I talked about Warrior Women in Business, as you may have noticed, I said we focus on New York City and the tri-state area women because it's a regional focus. So if you're just starting out, it would be smart to start where you know you have a demand, where you understand regionally where your customers are, because then when you get into, I'm just getting to this point about paid media, when you get into putting dollars behind a campaign, which you will do in search marketing like Google and Bing, or social media, which would be, you know, obviously LinkedIn, Facebook, well, barring what's going on with Facebook today, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, so on and so forth, TikTok, whatever. You, instead of just throwing money at it, you have a specific budget based on where you know the market demand is. So this is how we as digital marketing professionals look at the landscape for our clients or even our own businesses. where am I putting money into? Because all of these things require some budget, you know? And how does that support my plan? So this is more so that you can just kind of understand the process and the tactics. And then on my website under digital marketing strategy, I have this kind of old school, but it's pretty detailed video that kind of breaks this all down. What's in a digital marketing plan? How does the process work? So you could just watch that video too. Okay, so a brand. So most of my work on the keynote speaking, and I'm an author, is all around this personal branding and branding. And why? Well, I love branding, but more importantly, small business owners, whether you're a solopreneur, you have a partner, listen, if you're less than like 20 employees, let's say, to me, you need to have a strong personal brand, or what I call an executive brand footprint, right? Because you can leverage that for your company brand. So when you think about, so still I'm in strategy in this presentation, right? I haven't told you to do anything yet. So right now you're thinking about, what's my business? Who's my target audience? What's the demand? What's my pricing? How am I going to make this work? What are my resources? Do I understand digital marketing? That's where I've gotten to now. So now you want to think about, what is my brand? What's the look and feel of my brand? Now, what's really important about that is, as you can see, my brand is red. My Jasmin Sandler brand is red, white, and blue. I chose that from the very beginning. It's just colors that I love, I enjoy. It makes sense for my brand. I focus on people in the US. I like it. It works with my brand, you know? So what does that mean? That means then everything that I deliver, from social media graphics to video covers, to the website, to the PowerPoint decks that I own that are trademarked and all this, everything has to have the same coloration, right? So if you're thinking about your website, you've got to think about the colors. Then you also have to think about, how do the colors resonate with my audience, right? So that's really important. So one of my favorite clients, I say this about all of them, but this woman is just super smart. So Mary Wallace Yench, just a quick story. So she is a coach to older women in business, and her background is as a COO. So she's pretty much an operations expert, and she does coaching training. She holds small, very inspiring, innovative groups through taking women through really thinking through their business from an operations standpoint. So she's been a speaker at a few of my events and my conference. And when she wanted to go off on her own and start her own business, we really thought through, not only what does she represent as a brand, right? But who's her audience? So we thought through, when we were thinking about the colors, right? As you can see here, we did styling for her, we did photography for her, we did her brand, we did everything. That's all in the brand. It's not just a logo. It's the voice, it's the communication, it's the style, it's everything, you know? We had to think through, what's going to resonate with her audience, and what does she feel good about, and what can she own? So art is an intangible, and it's subjective. However, it's something you really need to think through, because once you define that, and also further your messaging behind that, that's what you're going to need to take forward throughout all your digital marketing. So many people, when they don't know digital marketing, or they're just trying to make it work, they'll run into the problem of just throwing things out there. And I mean, I get it, you know, but when you put things out there for your brand, you should always be thinking, how is it supporting my brand promise? Now, I own 4 brands because I also manage my band. So all of them have their own brand. All of them have their own audience, you know, and same with my clients, right? And the people I come across. So you really want to think about that. So if you're not doing personal branding today, or you're doing it and maybe you're not seeing how it's supporting your business, I'd like you to really think about it. You could literally, all of my books I've written on Amazon.com, you can get for free if you want them. They're in what's called the Amazon Prime Library, and they're all on this subject. So I have a ton of information on this subject, and it's really important because a lot of small business owners just don't have the resources of people and employees, and so they have to rely on their brand. It's really important. Okay, website design and development. So once you have that brand, you know, and I'm talking about just startups here that are just starting an online business. Even if you already have a website, I still can talk to you very easily. But basically, the design has to support your brand, right? So I have an example here of another one of my clients, right? So if you look at Rachel Braun-Sherrill, who runs Spark Solutions for Growth, she supports female sexual health tech companies, very niche, extremely niche. You know, her website, her colors, her photos, they resonate with her 100%, and her personality, you know, the content, everything, the language. I didn't even talk about the language because it's so important. So when you talk about the website, right, the copy has to resonate with who you are and what your business is. The design needs to support the brand. So just like I was talking about having a financial plan for your business online, you also need to have a functional plan for a website. So this will say, I'm going to have X number of pages. This is how they're going to flow. These are the functions of the website that a user will take as he or she traverses my website. And then they will get to these goals, whether they're going to download something, fill in a lead form, buy something, buy a couple of things. Having a functional plan, a blueprint, an architectural blueprint before you design a website is just so important. That's so important. So I just want to emphasize that. Having, you know, the site designed and developed for organic search optimization is a no-brainer. And for scalability, depending on what you're doing. But today's topic that I was asked to do is about an online business. So I'm assuming you want to grow it. So if you want to grow it, you need to be on the right web host, right? You need to be on a platform that is scalable. So these things are important. Having customer service tools and market automation is generally a second and third step for a new online business, but it's just something I want to throw across to you guys to let you know. Like I was telling one of my clients a couple of weeks ago, I said to her, how are you going to handle customer service? I mean, customer service is huge, and the beauty of being a small business owner is that a lot of big businesses, even if they're medium-sized businesses, tend to not do a great job in customer service. So this is where you can take the edge, where if you respond quickly, you know, if you give people the tools and information to connect with you, you're going to be miles ahead of your competitors and some of the bigger companies. So like, that's why I put on here live chat as an example, you know, just thinking customer service as you're building a website is really important. Okay. So these tools, just to give you, I just want to throw up some tools here. So we use, at my agency, primarily we design and develop in WordPress with WooCommerce. Sometimes we do Shopify. And then, you know, Squarespace is also an option, but I tend to go WordPress with WooCommerce. I've been developing on that for so many years. Just really comfortable with it. It's a solid platform, meaning the way that some of these, what we call open source platforms work, content management systems, is that there are development companies that create plugins to drive other functionalities on these platforms. And because WordPress as a development platform has been around so long and solidified, you know, you basically can do anything on WordPress, you know, products, memberships, subscriptions, courses. I have all that on my website, you know, on one of them. So just to think through that for a second. Okay, digital marketing budget. So I want to talk about this and not scare you guys away. Actually, if I scare you, it's okay. But I want to start with talking about the budget from the standpoint of profitability. So I do not look at, because I myself spend definitely the minimum to medium range of this just on my own business, you know. Why? Because I have a financial plan. That financial plan says if you spend X, you'll get 2X back. You know what I mean? So the budget is really, I just put this up because most people have zero idea, at least the people I talk to. Every time I ask, what's your budget? I have no idea. Unless they've been in business a long time or come from a background of operations and finance, then they usually know. But a lot of small business owners have no idea about budgeting for digital marketing and what does it include. So I just wanted to give you a basic snapshot of this. Branding, web design development, content production, email marketing, writing, graphic design, video production and editing, social and search management, advertising, tools and subscriptions. So in this, there are also people that require salaries, you know. So this is if you want to do it right. This is if you really say, I want to build an online business. Then if you're going to spend 60K a year, are you going to make back 120K a year? You know what I mean? And this is just like, I am not the finance expert. I have people on my team that do that, but I'm just giving you the basics, you know, to start thinking about. And honestly, what would be really good for you guys is if you're already doing digital marketing, whether you're doing it by yourself or you have a company or a consultant or whatever helping you. I am a big believer in spreadsheets, and most business owners are. Just, I think today a good homework for you guys is to take out a spreadsheet if you haven't already and write out currently, what am I spending in digital marketing? Yesterday I had a call with a guy, hopefully he's going to hire me because it's a really great company. And I started to kind of dig through with him in terms of what is this, he's got like 10 people. I said, what is your company spending? And he's like, well, we're doing some SEM. Oh, we just started. I don't know. I told him, you need to give me that information or I can't help you, right? Because if you're going to rely on me to help drive sales for you through digital marketing, I need to know what you're spending so that you're satisfied. So as a business owner, you really start to write it down, whatever the cost is. I don't care if you bought a stock photo for $10. Put it, line it out on a budget, because that's really going to help you to understand, I'm spending this much money, I'm making this much money back, or I'm not making any money. Okay, what do I need to do? Maybe I need to take money out of this bucket and put it into another bucket, you know? So this just kind of helps you to think how to manage an online business from a digital marketing budget standpoint. I'm going to talk about some tactics now. And just, this is a basic presentation, but search marketing. So in search marketing, there's two types of search, right? So this is when people go to Google and Bing as an example, and they type something in and results come up. That's called display. When you go and you do that and you go to a website and then you notice, like my mom always says, why do these websites keep popping up? She's so cute. On other websites, I said, well, that's called retargeting, because basically what they're doing is they're capturing your data and then they're continuing to serve you an ad until you take an action, if whomever is managing search right. So that's paid search. You're paying to be there, okay? It's based on a cost per click. When you talk about display, there's also contextual marketing in paid search, which is delivered based on a CPM, a cost per 1,000 impressions, right? Or million impressions. So what happens there is you might be on a website like a Forbes, for example, or an Inc., and you're reading something, and you might see a phrase highlighted or underlined, and as you're reading over it, boom, an ad pops up. Usually it's a text-based ad. So that's called contextual placement. Both of these deliveries of ads or awareness around your business and your website fall under paid search. It means you are paying, not me, you're paying Google, Bing, Ask, whomever search engine to get into their networks and to get displayed to consumers. So that's paid search. Organic search. Organic search is really what I love. And so organic search is the practice of driving qualified traffic to your websites based on a number of factors. So number one, as I mentioned with website design and development, is your website itself needs to be optimized for search. There's over 200 factors, and I have no time to go through it all, but I will just tell you, if you're designing a website or developing a website or have a website that doesn't have good search rank, get an SEO developer, not just a web developer, but somebody who's done SEO. I mean, we have those people, but if you're working with somebody, ask them, do you have SEO experience, and what is it, you know? Because the basic is having your website optimized for search. SEO is an ongoing process, because what happens is rank, this is the organic listings and search, goes up and down, right? Based on volume, based on competitiveness, based on demand, based on activity. So anyway, so in an ongoing fashion, SEO works not just in continuing to optimize your website every month, but also getting what we call quality and relevant websites linking back to your website in a way that's related to how you do business, right? So this is where online PR comes into play in terms of your personal brand. So, you know, let's say, for example, I have one of you ladies on my podcast, right? And I link on any of those channels back to your website, and it's linking back to your website. And it's coming from Warrior Women in Business, which is a site about female entrepreneurship, and you're a guest, that will help to drive some signal to search to say, okay, these are relevant and qualified websites, just as an example. But there's millions of examples. I don't have the time to go through, but just so you know, I just want to give you a basic about how search works. So on the top of this slide is an example of organic search, and on the bottom right of this slide is an example of paid search listings. I have lots of case studies on my company. The agency of my company is called Agency. So on agency.com, you can take a look at that. Or if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me about search marketing. All right, online PR. This is a tactic to enable coverage of a small business brand online, right? So to me, this I've been doing for a long time, and this can fall either into, remember the trifecta, either the search SEO bucket, or sometimes agencies put this in the SMM social media bucket. Doesn't really matter what they sell it as. It's a tactic to enable coverage of a person or brand online. So in the work that I do in executive social branding, I look to get my clients into targeted blogs, podcasts, speaking engagements, publications that are related to what they're selling. You know what I mean? So this is a very important way to rise above the crowd, because that's the big problem, right? If everybody wants to start an online business at the same time, you're either going to be spending a lot of money in paid media, or you're going to start to get some really good press, or both. And you should have both. So that's what this is about. Social media defined. I want to just get into social media. I don't know how much time I have left right now. Lovely. Can you tell me where I'm at on time?
You're on time. And also, if you have time to do some Q&A at the end, it'll be great also.
Yeah, can you tell me what time it is? Because I don't have a clock.
It's 12:43.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so social media, right? So again, this is a very summary presentation, so I can't go deep, but I'm going to give you guys some things that you can use. So social media is really about creating a community, being involved in communities. It's about using the social networks to develop a presence within a community, own a community, to drive viral purchasing behavior. And for female entrepreneurs, a big piece of this is their social brand. Now, you might say to me, hey, I don't want to be the spokesperson for my business, and that's okay too. So a lot of small business owners will have someone else, or that will have it develop their brand in such a way that there's a human element to it. So, but the point is the brand in some way, shape, or form has to be a part of a community, and leading a community based on topic interest, based on nurturing. This is very important. Okay, so the keys, if you are going to create a social brand from an individual standpoint, number one is to create and deliver thought leadership. It really doesn't matter whether you're selling shoes or you're selling digital marketing services or you're a business coach. At the end of the day, you need to continue to deliver what your brand promises to your customers. That's it. You have to remain authentic. And that word is overused so many times, but it is true. It is true, because the thing is consumers, clients in my case, are smart people. So they're going to research everything, right? I mean, most of how business happens online starts, and marketing in general starts with research, right? So you want to, as you start to set your footprint in digital marketing, you want to have an authentic brand over and over again, and continue to deliver education and value. You want to align with target communities. The way to do that is for you to find out who they are. So this to me is a perfect example. The reason I even found these guys is because I have a temporary office in Florida. The reason why is because I connected with the SBA Women's Center in Jacksonville. And we were planning to do some great things in 2020, and then COVID happened. But I reached out to them because I saw that they were very mission driven about supporting female entrepreneurs. And I have a residence down there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to open up another office down here. So they were the first people that I went to, because it's directly aligned. So you want to think about who is it that you are selling to, and who else is selling or providing resources and support to those audiences. Remaining consistent is really important, and sometimes it's very hard, to be honest with you guys. Remaining consistent in your content, remaining consistent in your frequency, So a big question I always get asked is, how often should I post in social media? I get that question all the time, and I always say, if you're doing it on your own, it's however often you are comfortable with and that you can commit to. Number one, because if you're trying to build a brand, then you're expecting that other people are going to be expecting that brand to happen. So you need to be there. And you also need to nurture and manage your ecosystem. So who it is you're connecting with. Then you need to obviously commit to owning this brand and style. Now, I mean everything. So somebody messages you, get back to them. Somebody provides a negative comment. That's fine. That's what happens in social media every single second. So you got to decide, how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to take that offline, right? Or are you going to not let that affect you? So when you talk about social branding, all of these things come into play, and you need to own that. So how you build this community is building a focus to finding qualified partners, customer sets, and influencers, and then nurturing them, right? So when you start, again, this is all about first starting out, right? For starting out, you need to find out who's already out there that could become a referral partner of mine. And a lot of times when I do LinkedIn training, I have my clients look at who they already know, who they've already done business with. That should be your that's low-hanging fruit, right? So that's a good thing to do. And then leaders of communities where your customer lives, right? So literally, location-wise, who's doing things in a specific community? Because aligning with those leaders can help you, whether that's a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group, it's important. Looking at the trade and industry media, very important when I mentioned online PR, right? You want to start to follow journalists that matter, influencers, podcasters that matter. Because at the end of the day, you want to get in their wheelhouse, or not their wheelhouse, but within their conversations. And then obviously your customers or client base. So in this, I'm talking about how do you start when you don't really have a community. And these are some of the ways that you can start. A couple of notes here on tactics. So LinkedIn, I could talk about it all day, or you could just get my book for free. But your LinkedIn profile is your footprint, right? So a lot of small business owners actually, when they're really just starting out, they don't even have anything. And I say to them, well, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Yes. Okay. Let's develop that out, because that could be your calling card. This is how you might be able to just initially start to get business. So you want to design this around a strong position. What I mean here is the position that you commit to and the position that you promise back to your customers. Again, when I talk about branding and I'm talking about individual or CEO branding, I'm talking about looking at yourself as a brand of value. So it needs to be around a strong position, right? It needs to be current. Everything, obviously, from the headshot down to the whole profile. And it really needs to be branded in such a way that's going to support your business. So I'm going to give you a quick example of a former client. So this is Whitney Farber, really smart lady in real estate. And essentially, in the real estate industry in New York, where I live, in Manhattan, there's something like, at the time that I did this project, there was something like 35,000 residential real estate salespeople in Manhattan alone. So she's one of them. So she needed to build a brand that made her stand out, but also supported her areas of expertise. So what we did is we designed her brand really around her background in finance. So she had a strong understanding of the investment of real estate. So when she worked with clients, she really focused on clients that were coming to the US, coming to New York from places like Brazil, Russia, China, where a lot of the money in the last few years, well, especially since 2008, has come into New York City in terms of real estate acquisitions. So we really, really focused on that. And I said, Whitney, we're going to build a brand around that. And then I want you to look at who you already have in your LinkedIn network and start to segment, just like you would with any marketing, segment those people into buckets in terms of customers, current customers, past customers, prospects, maybe people of influence, like maybe people that are editors of The Real Deal, for example, and start to develop these relationships. When it comes to social media marketing as an individual, it really, at least for me, is truly about building relationships over time and being consistent. you know, and continue to support that brand story. So the hard part, because it's not easy, the hard part is making the choice, right? Making the choice on where you want to focus. Because once you make that choice, then that's the path you're going to go down. This is a quick story. Twitter, so Twitter is highly active. Anybody in B2B, Twitter and LinkedIn are usually their top social media channels. But, Twitter for me and clients that I work with is very useful both from B2B to B2C, business to business and business to consumer, because this is where activity is happening. It's a micro blogging network. That's what it is, right? You only have 280 characters. You have to say things quickly. You have to interact. So this is where you're going to find what's trending online. So I'll just start with that. So if you make it a habit of even going to Twitter once a day, if you're doing this on your own and you're doing it like, organically, seeing what's trending and how your business maybe supports something that's trending in an authentic way. I always say that, right? Because this is where the media is going to find their next story. This is where real-time engagement happens, There's things called tweet chats, if you're not familiar with them, that happen in every single industry. This is where companies will initiate a tweet chat about a topic. You could initiate a tweet chat. Again, it's all about commitment. So I don't initiate tweet chats. I just don't have the time, but I am engaged with a lot of tweet chats in my digital marketing industry. This is how I connect with my peers, because many times over, my business comes from relationships with peers in my own industry. So don't forget about that, because it's really important for LinkedIn, for Twitter, and Facebook as well. Instagram is a great branding tool. It's also a great sales tool, especially for small consumer brands, and also for if you're, in the event business. So it's a branding tool. It's about you. It's about your business. It's about understanding hashtags as discovery, as keywords. For me, it's very simple. I look at it as SEO. Okay, are the hashtags I'm using in Instagram part of my SEO plan, right? To me, it's very consistent. So it's about how you brand, again, to go back to my web design example, what are the colors you're going to use? What's your messaging? What's your content? What do your clients love? So look at other Instagram profiles of other related companies and see forget about the numbers. Look at how people are engaging with the content, and is it real engagement? So if it's real engagement, that will give you some kind of clue about how you maybe want to focus with doing it in your own way. You want to nurture others. I say that for every social network, It's about supporting others and really building a brand and having, again, a frequency. Again, these are tactics and channels. But Instagram has really grown since its inception. And, I think when I work with small business clients, we always do campaigns here because it's so low cost and easy. It's a really good way to start to not only build your brand, but get an understanding of what your clients like and they don't like. Facebook, right? So Facebook puts the social in social branding. So Facebook, right, is the gorilla in the room. And there's so much you can do on Facebook, especially if you're an individual, right? So you can have a branded page, a public figure, or a business page. There are zillions, just like LinkedIn, but even more Facebook groups that you can interact with. You can run a group. In the consumer space, Facebook advertising can very much work if you know how to do the targeting right. If you start with putting out content and seeing where the engagement happens, social media is really all about real engagement, right? And then getting a key cue from that, and then creating content that really supports your audience. So, again, it goes back to the branding. But the beauty of Facebook, I think, is that it is the most social conversation that happens. And so if you are in any way serving an audience that is communicative, like my Warrior Women in Business audience, for example, they're going to expect that you're there, and you need to nurture and support them. You need to engage. If you haven't already looked at the groups that you're in Facebook, take a look. If you haven't started a business page and you have a business, think about it. With Facebook, as a very simple way to get started as an online business, you can set up a store. Shopify is a partner of Facebook, so you can set up a store. You can sell products, you can sell services. There's just so much you can do. Okay, YouTube is a perfect branding and thought leadership tool. A lot of people don't consider YouTube as a social network, but it very much is. Primarily, it's a video distribution tool. And so YouTube should be a part of your mix 100%, because if you don't have a video plan, you're going to lose out. Video is consumed 63% over text every single, or even graphics every single time in an ad. So, but the key is to have good video. And it's not easy because it requires an investment, for sure. You know, whether it's people, you know, good production, good editing, or all three. But it is a great branding thought leadership tool. And generally, I recommend when you're starting out, just have like one good video. You know, just start with one good video that you can use on your website. If you're really tapped out for money, just starting with one good produced video of you, or maybe a spokesperson for your company, talking about, you know, whatever it is about your business that's going to start to show people what your brand is. You know, I'm just talking about the basics, because over time, YouTube can be a fantastic thought leadership tool. And when you get involved with YouTube, you can do YouTube advertising, which can spill across into Google advertising. Google owns YouTube. People seem to forget about that. So meaning when you do YouTube well and you optimize your content on YouTube, it helps to support search. So I can't talk enough about YouTube, really important. Recommended digital marketing tools. A lot of folks don't know the tools. There are so many tools when it comes to digital marketing. So I'm just going to give you a few, just because these are, I was just trying to look at tools for small businesses, starting businesses, that are best of breed type of things that are, I wouldn't say they're all easy to use, but you can learn them and they're good for small business development of an online business. So Hootsuite for social media management, Sprout Social is its competitor. They both have their pros and cons, but to me, these are both kind of equally good for small business management and monitoring. Monitoring is important because you don't just put things out in social media and then just leave it, you know. Monitoring is a big part of it. So how are people engaging? What are they saying? You can see this in a nice dashboard on either case, instead of just trying to dig into Facebook analytics or LinkedIn, you know, who view my profile every day. So, you know, having tools will, in the end, save you time and money. And these are cheap. They're like $10, $20 a month, you know. Constant Contact, I mean, there are literally, I don't even know how many email marketing programs out there for small businesses, but Constant Contact, Zoho, Campaign are easy to use campaign tools for email marketing, where they're priced for small business, they scale as you scale, and you can use them for like market automation and workflow and email marketing and for distributing your email into social media. So those are pretty good tools to look at. Canva and Visually, I mean, I just didn't have enough room to give you all the tools, but Canva is for creating designs for social media. You can even create videos in there. I mean, basic stuff. But these are just good places to start out. IWF hosting is, there's a lot of hosting, also gazillions of hosting firms, but I personally host, I have 5 websites and I host them all with IWF because if you're planning on doing anything, especially if you're planning on doing anything with developing courses online or like selling coaching, they're very solid, but furthermore, they're really priced for small business. But my favorite part of them is that literally the best customer experience I have ever had. They're based in the United States and they will never outsource you. And they get back to you like every question I have. So I don't know, they're my favorite tool company. HubSpot, if you know anything about like inbound marketing, HubSpot is an all-in-one platform for inbound marketing, for blogging, email, everything you can think of when it comes to inbound marketing. It's a little bit more expensive, but I put it on here just in case, because I don't really know who's on this call, honestly. So just in case you've already tried some tools and now you're growing and you have, this would be, especially if you have somebody on your staff that manages your, like it is a true digital marketing manager with experience, would be able to pick this up and run with it. Yoast I have on here, the Y. So Yoast is one of those SEO tools that is easy and easy recommend for optimizing on-site searching. And that's a simple plugin for WordPress. So, you know, my company, my digital marketing agency has been around since 2006. So we have, if you're going to use any of these tools and you want a deal or you find a tool, just reach out to me, because we have so many partnerships and so many deals with a lot of these small business companies. So I have an offer, and then I'm going to do Q&A. So again, I want to thank you and I really hope I put this actually is a new deck, because I was like, all right, I got to give them a summary and some action points for digital marketing. So, so first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out today. I really appreciate you being on 100%. But so I wanted to put out an offer. So for the properties that I own. So I want to start with Warrior Women in Business. If you don't know about Warrior Women in Business, the website is warriorwomenbusiness.com. And Warrior Women in Business is a podcast, event series, mentorship program for female entrepreneurs. I also, as a part of it, I have Warrior Women in Entertainment. So if any of you are artists, musicians, I've worked with Broadway theater directors that need some help and want to get some visibility. Warrior Women in Entertainment provides an opportunity for artists to perform to this audience. So it's pretty cool. So there's a membership there, 15% off the membership. It's already it's a low cost, and that gives you free access into like most of the things that we do. Digital marketing coaching, and this is primarily if you are in a space where you need an advisor and you need a coach because you're grappling around a project. It could be your website. It could be your social media. It could be your search marketing. It could be your brand. If you said, I really need help, I try to be as efficient as possible, you know, with people. So I offer everything from a half hour up to monthly retainers. So digital marketing courses. So I have multiple courses that you can take. They're fully interactive. I do group coaching through them on courses.jasminsandler.com. And then lastly, my agency, which is an agency under JS Media, we're a small team, and I scale up as I need. But if you really need a team to do professional services, and you don't want to go to a Fiverr, you don't want to go to an Upwork, and you want my help, and I will be the person that you deal with, and my team will do the execution. I will help you out. Anything, web design, web development, SEO, paid search, social media. You won't have to deal with someone that you can't get in touch with, you know. So so that's that. And then so yeah, I wanted to take the time. Hopefully I have the time. I'm trying to speak fast. I don't have a clock in front of me, but I'd be thrilled to take your questions at this time. And thank you.
Okay, anybody who have any question, I will be unmuting. So let's just do it one by one. So you could also unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Lovely. This is Elaine. Jasmine, do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Hi.
As I was reading some of the chats that was going through, someone was asking the possibility of obtaining a copy of your PowerPoint presentation. Are you going to be sharing that with Bob?
Yes. What I'm going to do is I will put this up on a link, and I will send it to you. That's no problem. After. That's easy. Mm-hmm.
You can send it directly to me. I put my email in the chat.
All right. Okay.
It's the Elaine at the SBA.
All right. You could, you know what? If you could, I'm not even touching the computer. Very superstitious. So if you can email me, also my email is jasmine@jasminsandler.com. Anybody can email me.
Okay, it's not a problem. I just wanted to make sure that I think.
Yeah, I'll send the link. That's easy. No problem.
A lot of people ask for that. I thought you did a great job with this presentation. I enjoyed it. I have to say that.
I have a question.
Someone has a question.
Yes, you use the term SEO frequently, and can you tell me what that means?
Sure. SEO is search engine optimization. So it is the marketing practice of optimizing a website using organic search tactics.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have a question.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Okay. As far as the branding go, I know you said that you should brand each part of your business. Is it important to separate each of it as well on social media? Like part, like I do fashion, so I have
Okay.
Purple Keys and I have Modesty and I have my organization ones. Should each of those have their own page?
So if they are separate entities with separate revenue buckets, then yes. If they are just products and services under one brand, then they become product and services
Okay.
under a page. Do you know what I mean? I don't know your business, but that's my answer.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can, if it's fashion, Warrior Woman Business loves fashion, so please send your website over. Love to take a look.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question, Jasmine.
Sure. Oh,
So
good. I
I
can see somebody. How are you?
I'm good.
Everybody else is just a word, so hi.
So because of the pandemic, I did get, laid off, and I decided to create my own business. I've been an executive administrator now for 28 years. I work with CEOs my entire career. So I've decided to do it, online. And my question would be, I'm working right now on my branding, right? And you talked about branding being really important, choosing the colors, making sure that everything is concise and it represents me, right? So I'm outgoing, I'm very sassy. So, my colors are going to probably be like, like a princess color. That's just me, like, like a soft rose and, gold. And so my question to you is, once I get my branding set, right? What platform should I start? Should I start, should I start a web page first? Should I start, Facebook, messaging out in Facebook? Should I start, like, what would be for me trying to get clients, together, my first or second client? What would be the first thing I should go out and like introduce myself?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to introduce yourself, you need to have them to go somewhere. So you need to decide what that somewhere is, and that is based on what your budget is and your timeline. So if you want to do a website correctly,
Yeah.
and it's going to look good,
Yeah.
your minimum time frame, minimum is 3 weeks. That's a minimum agile process. Your minimum cost for a professional website, our personal brand websites, the minimum we do is $1,500, right? If you want it done right. And I'm just saying, so that's number one. You have to decide, am I going to invest in this? Do I have the time? Okay. If you say no, that's okay too, So if you say no, then I would say you pick a profile channel where your inherent audience lives. So if you, which you're really in B2B, you're selling SEO. So that falls into all the work I do around LinkedIn, right? So I would say, if you just want to start really small, you want to look at your LinkedIn profile and build that up, in terms of design, in terms of optimization. And then you want to have a plan for reaching out to those people within your LinkedIn network with specific messaging. Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
Good. I'd love to see your work, honestly.
Thank
I
you.
think you're like, I don't know, 20 assistants.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, they drive me nuts. But anyway, so.
Well, interesting enough, I'm actually going to change my my title.
Okay.
Executive administrator is going to be office. It's going to be office business manager, because my goal is to help streamline businesses for the people that I work for. So
I like it.
Catherine had a question. She had her hand up.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. I was just wondering if you recommend Toastmasters, or people just really starting out, and Facebook ads. What would be a reasonable portion of money? Say you had $2,000 to put into business. If you put 300 into Facebook ads, it depends on what your product would sell and recoup. I mean, I'm not a finance person at all, but I've been hearing that you have to put some money in, like you were saying, $1,500 for a website.
Yeah.
But also making those contacts work. Toastmasters is online a lot now, so people could really almost go all over Manhattan without leaving their home. And in certain fields, some are more geared toward interests, or with like meetup groups or something.
Well, I'm sorry, what is your business?
Well, I'm at a point, I have a blog. I feel like I'm 20 years ahead. I've been trying to help people get ready for like the elder years or for difficulty in relationships. Nobody thinks they're ever going to have a problem in relationships or a divorce or custody or any of that. So I have some really important, you know, I'll maybe call you separately, but I'm just thinking it's helped me to be in Toastmasters, to be on Facebook, to have a blog. I'm not making a lot of money right now.
So do you consult for other women? Is that what you do?
I've never charged. It's like life is so difficult, right, for so many people. But now I realize people would pay me a pretty good amount of money.
Here's what I would like you to do. If you wouldn't mind, email me offline. As part of Warrior Women Business, I have a founding member program for coaches and consultants.
Okay.
Just email me so I get a better sense. I never get an answer if I don't fully understand.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying in a sense to throw that out there to people who maybe don't know how to begin or haven't honed it, even on sharing their talents, even if they're not charging. Some of this technology can be a little, you know.
Of course, I agree with you.
Intimidating.
Yeah. So if you could email me, maybe I get like a little bit of a paragraph, or if you have a link to something, and I'll have a better sense. That would be great.
And I have a friend, she has the Carrie Gabay Foundation. It's a nonprofit.
Oh.
And she would love help too. It's really kind of a moving, difficult situation where her husband passed. It was in the news and everything. It's rather well known. But she really would love to have more support and, you know, connect with people in a meaningful way.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll put that in there.
We'll set up a phone call.
Thanks so much.
Jasmine, do you have time for 2 more questions or?
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is Nicole Daly says she have a question. Then Ziggy come after.
Hi.
Hi, Nicole.
So,
I like when I can see you guys. So nice.
I know you mentioned that, so I was like, I better.
No pressure, Nicole. No pressure. So go ahead.
But my question is, I have a salon, and during COVID, I had started to sell more products. So now
a hair salon.
Yes, so I have a hair salon. I started to sell more products since we were closed, and giving out like more information and doing lots of things online. So now, but before I started that, I was planning on starting a product line. So I wanted to make shampoos, conditioners, and styling products. And now I'm like, okay, I'm selling other people's products because of COVID, and I really wasn't able to really like develop it 100%. But my question is, should I brand it as one entity, or should I create something totally separate and work on 2 different projects? So now that I see that there's a market for products, selling products to my clients and all that stuff, I wanted to I have a website, and I'm selling products from there, but I was thinking of doing it more. But I also still want to create a product line. So I'm thinking, what would be the best way to go about it as a branding?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the product line, if it's a product line that you're developing, it should go under your brand, you know? So that's number one. But I don't know anything about the product line, but it's from a branding perspective, if you're going to own it, you know, and it's a product, you need to look, you should, besides talking to me, you should definitely talk with a lawyer, 100%.
Right.
That one. I work with trademark lawyers, IP lawyers all the time. That would be good. You could even get some information from them. That would be helpful from that side of the fence, you know. But from a branding perspective, yes, I would say that it just becomes another product under your business that you're building, you know. And if you want to brand it in terms of a name, something else, you know what I mean? That's fine, but it can roll up to your company. You know what I mean? It's just to me, it just sounds like a brand of the company, like a division of a company or a product of a company, and it will carry its own line. Like Coca-Cola has 350 brands, right? But they still own it, and each of those brands has a specific name and a specific line and specific profit and loss, specific trademarks. So that's a proper way to do it. What's the,
Okay.
what, can I ask you, what's special about the product?
Well, I've created something and I'm still trying to critique it, but it's like it's a mask, it's a hair mask. And what it does is for curlier hair, and it makes the hair more manageable and stops it from shedding. And so I usually do it in the salon, but when COVID happened and we all had to close, I just started to sell like all types of products. I was doing lots of research for my clients because they're like, well, what do I do with my hair? I don't know what to do. And I couldn't get anything to like ship the stuff that I was making. So I just had to send them to other people. And so, I like became an expert on products. And so now people just want to buy products online, like as opposed to me creating something. But now I'm like, maybe I can do both, but I'm like, would that conflict with the brand? I don't know. This is my first time trying to do something like this.
Yeah, well, but you're talking about developing a product. You know what I mean? That's why I say talk to a trademark lawyer. I have a few if you want any recommendations. And I think that's, that's really important.
Definitely.
There's a movie. If you email me, I'll send it to you. It's driving me insane right now, and I just watched it like a month ago about this woman. The true story. Do you know what I'm talking about? This woman who it was like based in the South in 1930 or 40. So there's a woman who has a hair product line, and this woman works for her, and she's a slave, and she says, oh, you'll never develop this line. And then she develops it and becomes famous. And the woman is awesome. She's in all these films, and my boyfriend always says, that's your favorite person. I'm like, this woman is. She is like the coolest person. I want to Huh?
That's based on a true story.
Yeah, honestly, I cried. It was the best entrepreneurial film I've ever watched. And it's based on a hair product, just exactly what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Is that what it is? Oh, thank you. It's so good, right? Oh my God. I love that movie. So anyway, you just remind me of that.
Hey, I'll write that down.
Oh, so wonderful. Anyway, sorry about that, but that's what you remind me of.
No, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what you need to do. Protect it first, figure it out. But,
okay.
Okay. Last person is Zig.
I'm sorry. Just one quick.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
As far as selling other people's products online,
yeah.
Do you think that's like okay for me to do that?
Yeah, so I'll just tell you, so my podcast, episode 24, I can't remember.
Okay.
I did a podcast on, that episode was on how to look good on Zoom. Today my hair's a mess, but anyway, so I had a makeup artist. Her name is Devana, I can't remember. But anyway, so she sells a line that's not hers. And that's how she's been able to stay afloat. So she's not branding it as hers at all. She's just continuing to sell it online under her brand, under her website. She's not like you. She's not going to develop her own line. She's just like a, makeup artist. But I think it's fine. Like you're a hair salon. I would expect to buy Biolage or whatever the hell when I walk in your hair salon.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of that, but so yeah.
No, we sell that too.
I love Biolage. It's awesome. So anyway, yeah, it's good. So I don't think there's a problem with that. That's your salon. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Last person, Ziggy Go.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say I really liked your presentation. I did screenshot some of your slides. I need them.
Good.
I'm a photographer, but I am also a creative. I've been freelancing since I was 16. I started with organizing closets and wardrobe styling and things of that nature. And I'm just trying to put everything that I do in one brand under one thing. But for me, budgeting and money is really an issue. I have my LLC that I recently acquired, and I'm not sure if, I'm not sure.
I think she cut out.
I think her connection went off.
Yes.
Yes. So
Not really. I see things popping, like colors
It's the-
popping in your toolbar.
yeah, it's the chat. So I
Oh.
think the connection went off. I'll email her
Yeah, that's fine.
and yeah, just give her your information and she could send you her question.
Sure.
to your
Yeah, that's no
email.
problem.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions for your business, please email Jasmine at jasminsandler.com. And also if you have any question for BOC, WBC, just email us at wbc@bocnet.org. And yeah, thank you for joining. And Jasmine, thank you so much
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
hosting this presentation.
Yeah, I'd love to continue to help the SBA and all your efforts. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a good day.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thank you, lovely. It's Elaine.
Hi, Elaine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks.